Caitlin Clark has become a name that rings louder than a buzzer beater in sports. Her rise to fame has turned heads, not just within basketball courts, but across a wide spectrum of athletics. Recently, the WNBA and LPGA have found themselves in an unanticipated debate over how athletes like Clark are celebrated, or in some cases, overlooked. The comparison may seem unusual at first glance, but it paints a picture of a generational talent forcing institutions to reevaluate their approach to stars who transcend their sport. But before we proceed further, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. The WNBA, long a league that prides itself on its commitment to fostering talent, was caught off guard when it became clear just how much Clark's fame had outgrown the structures meant to amplify players like her. Her collegiate career at Iowa didn't just set records, it set televisions ablaze. Her three-point shots, pulled from distances that made defenders question their eyesight, electrified crowds and elevated women's basketball to unprecedented levels. Yet, as her career barreled toward what many expected to be a natural progression into the WNBA, murmurs of discontent began to surface. The league's inability, or unwillingness, to adjust its operations to accommodate the tidal wave of energy Clark brought felt, to many, like a missed shot in crunch time. The LPGA's handling of a similar scenario offered a sharp contrast. In their case, a younger phenom with a fraction of Clark's cultural presence had been treated like the second coming of Tiger Woods. They rolled out the proverbial red carpet, plastering her face across marketing campaigns and crafting events around her strengths. It was a masterclass in recognizing potential and knowing how to harness it. Watching this unfold left basketball fans scratching their heads. Why couldn't the WNBA, with its access to a larger audience and more resources, replicate that success? This is where the irony became palpable. The LPGA, a sport often labeled as niche compared to basketball, had somehow shown the WNBA how it's done. Caitlin Clark, with her swagger and clutch performances, was not just another athlete. She was the type of athlete capable of dragging an entire league into the spotlight. Yet, instead of rising to meet her, the WNBA seemed hesitant, stuck in a rhythm that no longer fit the moment. Clark's ability to command attention is not an accident. Her demeanor on the court tells half the story. She doesn't merely shoot a three. She launches it like she's daring physics to argue. Her body language, whether it's a quick smirk after draining a shot or the fiery glances she exchanges with opponents, gives fans an extra layer of entertainment. She knows she's good and she's not shy about letting everyone else know it too. It's charisma in its rawest form, equal parts performance and substance. Off the court, Clark has proven to be just as compelling. Her interviews are disarming in their honesty. She's as quick to break down a game-winning play as she is to poke fun at herself for a bad haircut in high school. These glimpses of authenticity endear her to a fan base already mesmerized by her athleticism. It's not just that people like her, they see a version of themselves in her. That relatability, coupled with her on-court dominance, makes her a marketing dream. This is precisely why the WNBA's hesitation stings for so many. Here was an athlete with the power to bridge demographics, bringing casual fans into the fold. Yet the league seemed to treat her arrival as business as usual. No brand announcements, no shift in schedule to align with her debut. Even the draft, a moment many assumed would be her coronation, lacked the pomp and circumstance one might expect. The energy was off, like someone accidentally played the wrong playlist at a party. Meanwhile, the LPGA's playbook looked genius by comparison. Their decision to focus on an athlete with less cultural capital than Clark showed an understanding that talent, properly nurtured, could pay dividends beyond the sport itself. They weren't just promoting golf. They were promoting a narrative, one of youth, vibrancy, and the limitless possibilities of their game. In doing so, they carved out a space for their phenom that felt custom-built for her talents. This wasn't just good marketing. It was a commitment to evolving alongside the talent they were lucky enough to have. The contrast felt particularly sharp when considering Clark's collegiate career. At Iowa, she was the heartbeat of the program. Games featuring Clark drew ratings that rivaled professional sports. Her battles against top-tier opponents turned regular matchups into must-see TV. Even her misses, rare as they were, had a certain poetry. She played with a level of freedom and confidence that made fans believe anything was possible. If she could do all that in college, what could she do with the resources of a professional league behind her? But the NBA's approach made fans wonder if they even wanted her at all. The league's structure, which prioritizes team balance and collective parity, seemed to clash with the star-driven narratives Clark naturally commands. The draft system, salary caps, and other constraints appeared ill-suited to accommodate a player who could draw fans in droves. Instead of leveraging her momentum, they seemed content to let it fizzle. Fans watched in disbelief as the league tiptoed around the opportunity, hesitant to disrupt its established norms. This brings us to a crucial element of the discussion. What does an athlete like Clark represent? At her core, she's more than just a basketball player. She embodies a shift in how we think about women's sports. For decades, conversations about female athletes were often bogged down by comparisons to their male counterparts. Clark obliterates that framework. Her performances stand on their own, dazzling enough to silence any doubters. She's not the female Steph Curry. She's Caitlin Clark, period. Yet, the WNBA's reluctance to capitalize on this feels like a misstep with long-term implications. Fans, particularly younger ones, are drawn to stories. They want heroes, villains, and moments they can relive in highlight reels. Clark gives them all that in spades. Ignoring that dynamic isn't just a failure of imagination. It's a failure to understand the direction sports are headed. The LPGA's strategy also underscores a broader point about adaptation. In sports as in life, timing is everything. The willingness to adapt, to break old habits, and embrace new possibilities can be the difference between success and irrelevance. By recognizing their young star's potential and building a platform that amplified her strengths, the LPGA proved they were willing to evolve. It's a lesson the WNBA would do well to learn. Clark's story is still unfolding, and there's every chance the WNBA will course correct. But the early missteps are a reminder of how fragile momentum can be. Fans have options these days, with entertainment just a click away. If one league doesn't deliver, another one will. The LPGA showed they understood the reality the WNBA seemed to forget. As debates continue, one thing is clear. Caitlin Clark has already changed the game. Her presence forces conversations that many would prefer to avoid, highlighting gaps in infrastructure and challenging assumptions about what women's sports can achieve. Whether the WNBA catches up remains to be seen, but one thing's for sure. Clark isn't waiting around for anyone. She'll keep doing what she does best, pulling up from anywhere and proving that sometimes all it takes is one player to rewrite the rules. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. We thrive on your feedback, so be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Until next time, keep discovering and stay tuned.